I'm Dr. Rita McGuire. I am the Chief Medical Officer for Wakana, as well as one of the co-founders. I'm so excited to bring to you tonight a very, very important topic, and that is health, mental health, as it relates to the younger generation. That's the millennials and the Generation Z. Those are really young people, and they'll tell you their age when they introduce themselves. But I'm so excited to have three guests on the line. One of the guests happens to be my daughter, Hana Cohn. Amberly Carter is one of our business partners, my business partner here at Wakana, as well as David Mcdowell is also one of our business partners. So we're going to get started here. And mental health, May is Mental Health Month, Awareness Month. So each and every Wednesday in the month of May, I have been combining different topics with mental health, different chronic illnesses and diseases that also can cause mental health as well. So again, I'm Dr. Rita McGuire. I represent the health pillar here at Wakana. I am a mother of three amazing children. In the middle is my oldest, Jacob Cohn. He's 29 years old, and my middle child, Joshua Cohn, he's 24, I think. And then my daughter, who you will hear from, Generation Z, is 22 years old, graduating from Wellesley College in 2 weeks or maybe a week and a half, May 31st. And yes, I'm still a practicing physician. I'm an obstetrician gynecologist for over 30 years now. Yes, I'm still doing hysterectomies and C-sections and doing some cosmetic surgery as well. You can see I'm doing a liposuction. But 3 years ago, I got into the cannabis industry. And what's so fascinating about this industry is that I started on the hemp side, and we'll talk about what that means. And now I'm on the other side as well, the marijuana side. So you can see here where the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, asked me to testify for the Judiciary Committee for the legalization, taxation of the adult use law here, the recreational marijuana. So it's really exciting. My children think I'm so cool, right? I'm one of those moms that used to be really upset if I even thought I smelled marijuana, right? And now I am an advocate for this plant. So a little bit about our company. Wakana is the name of our company. And we launched on a year ago, April 20th, 4/20 of 2019. And Wakana was brought into the existence through the synergistic efforts and shared foundational values of 4 African-American women who believe that health, wealth, legacy, and freedom belong to all people. And I want you just quickly to meet the co-founders. Melissa Boston is the visionary behind Wakana. She is the CEO. She brings over 29 years of direct sales industry experience, as well as 15 years in business development, sales, and collections. In fact, she retired at the age of 32 and a half years old. She fired her boss, and she has truly been a dynamic force in this industry. She's built companies in over 40 countries. She's trained over 50,000 distributors. She's a social media strategist and absolutely the visionary behind Wakana. Our president, Dr. Patricia Van Pelt, is a state senator, serving her 3rd year here in Illinois. She's an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, an evangelist. And then our Phyllis Nash, our fabulous Phyllis Nash, is Senior VP of Sales. We coined her our midwife. See, she births all of the sales possibilities here at Wakana. And then myself, Dr. Rita McGuire, I'm the Chief Medical Officer of Wakana, bringing you over 30 years in the healthcare profession as an obstetrician gynecologist. All 4 of us have had the experience to work in this industry together for the last 3 years. In fact, before we launched Wakana, we built another cannabis company. Their sales, we took those sales from doing about $8,000 a month to over $250,000 a month in 18 short months. And I'm excited because we've been in business now for a little over a year, and we've done $1.7 million in revenue here at Wakana. So an exciting, exciting time. But what's important that you should all understand on this webinar is that we're much more than a company. We truly are a movement. And our whole vision is that we exist in the negative stigma that's caused communities around the world to suffer and lose out on the health, wealth, benefits of the cannabis plant. Because you know, when you say the word cannabis, it's a negative stigma. And our mission is really to be a catalyst, to stir a movement that inspires people like you right here on this webinar to confidently move into the space of the cannabis industry. You may want to move into the space as an entrepreneur and lock arms with us here at Wakana, as a formulator, even as an investor. All of these opportunities are available, really evoking the courage and strength of people in our communities to take back their health, to take back their wealth, to build legacy wealth and have more freedom. So cannabis is mainstream. In fact, this is a publication that I just purchased from Walgreens yesterday, or the day before yesterday. So you can see that Cannabliss, this plant helps to relieve anxiety. And we're going to talk about anxiety and depression and other mental health issues today. But what's really exciting is the industry. I'm telling you, this industry is expected to grow in the next 2 years to $22 billion in revenue. So this is the projected North American legal sales. You can see from 2015, this industry was doing about $202 million. And this explosive growth of 700% by 2022 of $22 billion. So it's exciting. But truly, the reason cannabis has become mainstream is because of this gentleman, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, right? This is someone that adamantly was opposed to cannabis. But in 2013, he had to make a public apology. And he said, we were systematically misled about this plant. He said, I didn't dig deep enough. I didn't search hard enough for all of the studies that show that this plant has hundreds of medicinal properties that we didn't even know about. And another reason cannabis is mainstream, specifically CBD, is because of the 2018 Farm Bill. See, after 80 years of cannabis, the hemp part of cannabis plant being illegal, after 80 years, the 2018 Farm Bill now allows hemp, the species from cannabis, to no longer be a controlled substance 1 drug. So it's now legal to be cultivated, sold, and consumed on a federal level in all 50 states. So this is a really good slide that I want you to look at. And it's going to explain what is the difference between marijuana and hemp. So cannabis is the family. It has over 100 plus cannabinoids we call compounds. But the 2 most common compounds that we know that the cannabis plant makes is THC, or delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol. That's the part of the plant that gives us the high. And CBD, like if you're like me, 3 years ago, I had never heard of CBD. CBD is cannabidiol, and it's the part of the plant that gives you the health benefits without the high, without the paranoia, without the euphoria, without seeing deer in your garage, right? But this plant, cannabis, has 2 species. One species is marijuana, which has a high level of THC and very trace amounts of CBD. That's the one that gets you high. That's the part of the plant that you'll go to a dispensary, either a medical marijuana dispensary with a medical card or a recreational dispensary to get products. And then there's hemp. That's a species that has very trace amounts of THC. In fact, the legal limit of THC that should come from hemp is 0.3% or less, and high levels of CBD. So tonight, we're talking about products where CBD is extracted from the hemp species. So that's why we say it gives you all the medicinal properties without the high. So again, CBD stands for cannabidiol. It's the second most common cannabinoid or compound found in different strains of the cannabis plant. It's the most common compound found in the hemp plant. And I've been using CBD in my practice for the last 3 years in combination with natural, with normal or pharmaceutical medications to treat conditions like diabetes, hypertension, anxiety, depression, insomnia, lupus, fibromyalgia, you name it, or even as a pain analgesic control after surgery. Again, CBD has no mind-altering effects, no euphoria, no high like THC. So here are some of the benefits that you can get from CBD. There's over 20,000 peer-reviewed articles that you can Google tonight with CBD, CBD and insomnia, CBD and diabetes, CBD and anxiety, to see the data, see the research that you can find as it pertains to its medicinal benefits. So CBD relieves pain, it relieves anxiety, it reduces inflammation, it relieves psychosis. It can help to stimulate the appetite in those patients who may be undergoing chemotherapy, or HIV/AIDS patients who may have AIDS wasting. It can help reduce nausea, again, in those patients who may be undergoing chemotherapy, reduces seizures and convulsions. It helps to prevent nervous system degeneration, patients who may have Parkinson's or dementia. It helps to suppress muscle spasms in those who have multiple sclerosis. It manages blood sugar in your diabetics. It treats psoriasis, eczema, acne, all those skin conditions. It inhibits cancer cell growth. Studies that show that CBD can help to stop the spread of cancer. It helps to reduce the risk of arterial blockage in patients who have coronary artery disease. It helps to increase bone growth, osteoporosis, people who have had bone fractures, and it also kills and slows bacterial growth. And you may say, Dr. Rita, how does CBD do all that? Sounds like a snake oil. That was my first thought when I was introduced to CBD. How does it do all of that? Well, there is a science behind cannabinoids like CBD and THC. And the science is through the endocannabinoid system. This system was discovered when I was in medical school. I'm dating myself. When I was at Wayne State School of Medicine in the early 1990s, the endocannabinoid system was discovered. And what they found was that this system is the most vital regulatory system within the human body. Every vertebrae has an endocannabinoid system. If you have a spine, you have an endocannabinoid system. And what this system is made up of is receptors. Receptors that are found throughout our entire body, through our brain, our central nervous system, our immune system, our periphery. And these receptors are looking for what? You guessed it right. They're looking for compounds that the cannabis plant makes. And the reason why your body needs CBD is because your body gets out of balance. How does it get out of balance? It gets out of balance from the food we're eating, the fried chicken, the processed food. It gets out of balance from the water we're drinking, from the air we're breathing, can't really get around that, from the sleep deprivation and the stress we're under. When that happens, our body cannot produce naturally occurring cannabinoids or endocannabinoids. So we need to take in CBD to put the body into balance. So this system regulates our mood, our sleep, our metabolism, our blood pressure, our pulse rate. It regulates and modulates how we think, how we feel, and how we react. These main receptors are not only found in the brain, the central nervous system, the periphery, and the immune system, but they're also found in the eyes, the lungs, the liver, the kidney, the bowel, the skin, the stomach, the teeth, and the heart. So all of these receptors are looking for CBD to put it back in balance. So let's specifically talk about mental health. and how CBD works when we talk about mood disorders or depression. Again, the endocannabinoid system has neurotransmitters that when those neurotransmitters sends a signal to the brain and says depression, anxiety, or I can't sleep, what happens is when you take in CBD, those receptors are put back in balance. There are studies that show that CBD acts like an anti-stress or antidepressant. And I'll show you the science behind that. When we look at PTSD, and when we say PTSD, we don't mean veterans. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, can come from any traumatic stress that happens in your life. A loss of a loved one, a loss of a job, a rape, a domestic violence. You're involved in a mass shooting. So post-traumatic stress disorder and anxiety disorders, those cannabinoids come in and they block the remembrance and they start to extinguish those nightmares. They start to extinguish when someone gets a trigger, that pathway in the brain. And so here is the science. Many of you have heard about serotonin and dopamine. Those are two neurotransmitter chemicals that regulate and modulate your mood, your sleep, how you respond, your appetite. So there are receptors that CBD binds on, the serotonin and dopamine pathways in the brain, that help release more serotonin and dopamine. That makes you feel better. That makes you feel less anxious. That helps you sleep. That helps you respond to that crazy boss at work. That helps you respond to your millennial or Gen X or Gen Z child. So that's how CBD works. There's a real science and pharmacology behind CBD. So here is our product line. And on the left, you'll see our power products. Those are the products in the black. Those are our full spectrum products that contain other cannabinoids like CBN and CBG and THC and CBD. The synergy of a full spectrum or the whole plant is much more effective than isolates or just one compound. So that's our full spectrum product. That's a product that contains the legal limit of THC, which is 0.3% or less. And then we have another line, that's called our pure line. Our pure line are for those millennials or Gen Zs or Gen X that have random drug screens at their job. This is a product they can take. It contains less than 0.0% of THC, and it will not show up on their drug screen. So we're going to talk about some of the products that are specifically tailored for our young millennials and Gen Z population. First, I'll read the FDA disclaimer. These statements and products have not been approved by the FDA. If you're pregnant, nursing, on medication, please consult your physician prior to taking any cannabis products. So in 2018, we talked about that farm bill, right? That farm bill, after 80 years, now descheduled hemp and legalizes hemp and its byproducts like CBD to be cultivated, consumed, and sold in all 50 states on a federal level. It's legal. What happened? People start making CBD products in their backyard, their garage, their basement. You find CBD products at the gas station, but I'm telling you, not all CBD products are made equally. Our products at Wakana are very unique. Why? We provide some of the most rich medicinal hemp that's fully compliant with the State Department of Agriculture. Our products are industrial hemp registered, and our products are farm bill compliant. That means they contain the legal limit of THC, and our CBD products are extracted from hemp. Another commitment that we have here at Wakana is we provide certificates of analysis or COAs on all of our products. Why do we do that? That transparency allows you to see a third-party validated lab that assures you that what's in the bottle is really in the bottle. The right amount of cannabinoids, the right amount of THC. So that also makes us very unique here at Wakana, our products. So how do you take CBD oil? Well, it's an oil that you place underneath the tongue, and it's really important that when you start using CBD, you start low and start slow, very conservative dosing, 3 drops in the morning, 3 drops in the evening, and you hold the oil underneath your tongue for about 60 seconds before you swallow. You do that so that the oil can be absorbed in those glands underneath the tongue and can get into the bloodstream. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes for the oil to get into the bloodstream. We recommend you don't drink, eat, or smoke for about 15 minutes or so it can be optimally absorbed. Now, we have a proprietary formulation on our CBD oil, which also makes us unique from any other CBD product on the marketplace. See, we have enhanced our CBD with USDA organic essential oils. All of our products are organic. We've infused our CBD with black seed and turmeric. Those are essential oils that have amazing benefits in reducing inflammation. They're great antioxidants. They help with digestion and kidney and liver function, blood sugar levels, cholesterol levels. They help with the skin and hair loss, as well as black seed is a powerful antibacterial. In fact, there are hospitals that use black seed to address methicillin-resistant Staph aureus. Is a very deadly infection. Turmeric, anti-inflammatory. Many of you on the line may already be taking turmeric. It's great for the heart. It helps with memory and just overall emotional well-being. Our 2 carrier oils. Our carrier oils help get the CBD into the bloodstream. We use MCT coconut oil and hemp seed oil. Both have medicinal properties as well. So our Hempranium 500 is a great product for millennials and Gen Z population to use as a tincture twice a day to help reduce anxiety, to help reduce depression, and all of the other things that they deal with. We have the same product in a pure form for those millennials and Gen Zs that may be working on a job that have random drug screens. This is a product they would take. Again, 3 drops in the morning, 3 drops in the evening. Now, what is special about our pure product is we've taken it to the next level. Our delivery system with our pure product is a nanotechnology. And what that means is that it allows the CBD to become more water soluble, which makes it more available to the cell. So the nanotechnology enhances the bioavailability of our CBD oil in our pure form to 98.7%. Just an amazing product. Again, you place under the tongue twice a day for a great starting dose. And then millennials, Gen Zs, they have pain. They have pain, physical pain. Maybe they were in sports when they were younger. Maybe they've had a traumatic car accident or injury. Maybe they work out like me every day and they have soreness. So our topicals offer local relief. Maybe they are what I deal with a lot of menstruating women that have something called dysmenorrhea, painful cramps. They can use this on the stomach during that time of the month. But we have 3 different topicals. One is in an oil form that you just place 1 or 2 drops in a sore area. And the other 2 are in a cream form. And yes, we've taken it to a next level step. We have a proprietary formulation on all 3 of these products where we've enhanced the CBD with 19 essential oils that are USDA organic to enhance the anti-inflammatory properties of CBD. So I'm telling you, this is absolutely essential when you think about many patients that are undergoing dialysis. I don't know if you know, but if you look on every corner in Chicago, you may see a DaVita dialysis if you're here locally. They're actually more common than Walgreens and McDonald's. And what we're finding is that these patients have chronic renal failure from long-term use of Motrin, Aleve, ibuprofen for just common everyday pain. So CBD is absolutely an alternative for those over-the-counter medications. And then our gummies. Our gummies are really good for the millennials and the Gen Z population. Why? Because gummies offer the same benefits in a different way of ingestion. Our power gummies contain 25 milligrams of CBD. And what I love about the gummies is that I take one every night. It helps me not only get into rapid eye movement sleep, but it helps to relieve the inflammation. We understand that your body heals when you sleep. Your immune system resets when you sleep. If you don't sleep well, your body can't heal. Most people are not sleeping well now because of the pandemic, the concern, the worries, the fear, or maybe there are some that can't sleep because they're in pain. So one gummy about 30 to 45 minutes before you go to sleep is a great way to wake up restored, refreshed, and not fatigued. The same gummy comes into our pure product. That's a product that contains less than 0.0% of THC, a great product for that millennial or Gen Z population that has random drug screens at their job. Now, this particular gummy has 40 milligrams of CBD, and it is a great way, again, for those who have insomnia, for those who have anxiety and stress, inflammation and pain, to really get a good night's rest. Now, what's unique about our gummies? Like no other gummies on the marketplace, our gummies are infused. Our gummies are not coated. So infused gummies are more concentrated, potent, and effective. And then stress can cause hair loss. Many of us have seen a lot of hair loss when we're stressed. I see it a lot when my patients deliver, just from being pregnant and the stress of delivery, 6 weeks postpartum. They say, Dr. Rita, my hair is thinning. My hair has fallen out. There are patches missing. So stress alopecia due to stress is called alopecia areata. We have a product that helps to promote the restoration of hair, from hair thinning to alopecia, be it due to stress, diet, hormonal changes. This product can be used in men and women. This product can be used topically on the scalp as well as internally. So you can ingest it because it is a power product and you may have a random drug screen at your job. Using it topically will not pass the blood-brain barrier. So you can safely use any of our topical products and still pass a urine drug screen. This amazing product has 100 milligrams of CBD in 15 ml bottle, but it also contains 11 USDA essential oils that help to dilate the vessels, to help the hair follicle grow, to block the conversion of DHT, which can kill a hair follicle and really help promote hair growth. And then we have CBD joints and cartridges. Now, this is probably the most popular amongst our millennials and our Gen Z population. They love smoking CBD. We have a pre-roll, which comes from the Stormy Daniels strain of CBD. And then we have our 2 cartridges. We have our Raspberry Jane cartridge and our Hypnotic cartridge. All 3 of these products, if you have a random drug screen at your job, unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to use these particular ones because they do contain the legal limit of THC, which is 0.3% or less. What I love about CBD joints and the cartridges is the fast acting. Within 1 to 5 minutes of one pull, CBD gets into the bloodstream. So acute anxiety, acute pain, migraine, you can't fall asleep. Any of those acute conditions that we see in millennials and Gen Z, the CBD joint and cartridge will take care of that acute issue within 1 to 5 minutes. That's what I love about vaping and the cartridges. And what I'm really excited is that we're rolling out our hemp bud and CBD flower. We will have fresh flower where those millennials and Gen Z, they can either roll their own CBD flower or they can vape it. Vaping flower or buds is highly effective. Again, the onset of action is within 1 to 5 minutes. It has a higher rate of absorption, so the bioavailability is better. It's healthier than smoking if you vape the flower, and there's no potential risk resulting from thinning agents like we see in those e-cigarettes and e-juices that those millennials and Generation Zs got really in trouble with. And there was a lot of fatalities and mortalities and morbidity in those e-cigarettes. So vaping flower is a great way also to get CBD into the system. So we're going to move on to bringing up our guests. And I felt that it was important because we don't want to leave the millennials out in the CBD industry, right? 22% of young adults have the highest prevalence of mental illness. This source is from the National Institute of Mental Health and National Alliance on Mental Illness. 1 in 6 US adults live with a mental illness, and 1 in 5 teens and young adults live with a mental health condition. And we absolutely can help this population with CBD products, giving them the health without the high, giving them an option to their Xanax or Lexapro or Prozac and all of those other antidepressant medications. And also another source I found said that millennials prefer cannabis products to alcohol. And you'll find out more very soon. But one of the reasons is, alcohol gives that awful hangover, right? They can't function the next day after drinking. Alcohol is very expensive. And so we see long-term use also of alcohol causes liver failure. So millennials really are looking to cannabis as an option for bringing back their health without the high, helping to restore that mental symptoms of depression and anxiety without the high. And so some of the things that we have to look at and why millennials and Gen Z suffer so much is because they live in a very anxious generation. Social media, they're bombarded with the stress of social media. They're pushy and overbearing parents. I'm one of them. The coronavirus fears. I mean, we're fearful. They're fearful too. They first said that young people don't get coronavirus. They don't die, but we're seeing children now being affected by the virus. So the fears of that, the fears that they have of their job security. It's uncertain times right now. And then the insomnia as well. That's just a vicious circle. Anxiety, you can't sleep, you wake up fatigued, and you're anxious and depressed. So I'm going to bring up first our first guest. Of course, this is someone near and dear to my heart, my daughter, Hana Cohn. And I'm going to let her just introduce herself, give her story, and why she loves our CBD products. Hana, are you out there? I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can share yours.
Great. Let me share my screen now. Are you able to see it?
Yes, if you could speak a little louder.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. Mom, thank you for inviting me on this webinar tonight. I'm so excited to be here and talk about my generation, Generation Z. First, I just want to give a brief introduction about myself. My name is Hana Cohn, and I will be graduating from Wellesley College on May 31st, coming up soon. I'm so excited. I will be receiving my Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology, and I'm on the pre-med track. During my college years, I conducted research in the fields of microbiology and immunology. And through this, I was published in 2 scientific articles. My passion for global and public health sparked during my abroad trips, where I volunteered in rural communities and provided basic health screenings, both in India and the Philippines. This program truly opened my eyes to the role of public health in mental health promotion. Along with mental health awareness, I enjoy traveling abroad, working out, and overall just striving to maintain a balanced and healthy lifestyle. But as we all know, trying to live a balanced lifestyle in this current society is very difficult. Many of you know that our generation is faced with many challenges that affect our mental health. Experts and researchers use terms like epidemic and crisis to characterize the mental health challenges currently facing American college students. Here I have a graph where you can see that Generation Z, compared with other generations, is least likely to report very good or excellent mental health. According to 2018 and 2019 student surveys from the American College Health Association, about 60% of respondents felt overwhelming anxiety, while 40% expressed depression so severe they had difficulty functioning. And these are very high percentages. And mood disturbances represent only just a small prevalent mental health issues experienced by college students. From the graph on the right, you can see that compared with other generations, Generation Z is more likely to report stress related to these national news topics. Headline issues from immigration to sexual assault are causing significant stress among Generation Z, with mass shootings being the top list of stressful current events. In addition, the COVID-19 pandemic has affected many people, including myself, with our graduation being canceled and many students having to leave campus and return back home. This is a crucial time we start discussions about managing stress, no matter what the cause is. My personal life is full of stressors and challenges that affect my mental health, like the pressure to perform well in school, the loss of close family friends, insomnia, graduation cancellation due to COVID-19, among other things. And CBD has helped calm my anxiety tremendously. Many of my friends in college dealt with mental health issues and expressed to me how their prescriptions that the doctors prescribed them made them just, their body feel weird, or it just made matters worse. And that's when they often ask me, like, what do you do? How do you keep relaxed? How do you, calm your anxiety? And I always told them CBD is perfect because unlike marijuana, it calms you down without the high. You're able to relax and still feel focused. I'm able to work out and go into a classroom and take exams. Some of my friends, it got so bad that they had to take time away from school. And so my mom, she sent some products to us, and one of my dear close friends, she was actually able to wean herself off of the anxiety medication because of the vape pen. I love to use the vape and the gummies, especially around times I feel increased stress, like around finals time, where I can really, excuse me, where I really feel increased stress levels and anxiety. Two products that are my favorite, I like to take the gummies daily to help me relax. It gives me a better night's sleep and it relieves my acute anxiety. Also, the vape pen increases my focus and boosts my energy daily. So along with working out, eating healthy eating and CBD products, my mood and my relaxation has increased tremendously and helped me a significant amount during my college years. So if any of you guys out there are in Generation Z and you're having trouble focusing, or you feel overwhelmed, anxiety about the next step after graduation or anything, you can always reach out to me and get more information about CBD and how it's helped me during my college years. So thank you, Mom, for allowing me to share a little bit about our generation and how I benefited from the CBD products.
Thank you so much, Hana. And, she was so transparent. Thank you for sharing the story about your friend. She has one friend that spent more time on the psych ward than she did in school. And I was just so grateful that we had products that we really helped this young woman to get back enrolled in college and to graduate. So it's just a great tool, a great product to use for even those Gen Zs who who feel like they need marijuana. They think that they need that high, but they really don't. They need the medicinal benefits of CBD to help them through these crises. So thank you so much. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
So we're going to see if our next guest is on the line. You can stop sharing your screen there. We're going to see if David is on the line here. There you are. That's
Oh, you
David.
can see me now? Oh.
We can see your picture, so you can talk. You can
All
share
right.
your.
Firstly, I want to say thank you, Dr. Rita, for allowing me to expound upon my experience with cannabis, marijuana, stress, things of that nature. Firstly, I just want to say thank you. As I would like to say, my name is David Mcdowell. Give you a little background about myself. I have a background in marketing and sales, also in audio production, music, spoken word, things in the entertainment and art fields. Just to give you a little background on myself, even more in depth, and I'm trying to keep it as brief as possible so we can keep everything flowing and candid, but these things are very important. I definitely wanted to hit on them. When I was, I would say 13 years old, 13, 14, give or take, I started indulging in pharmacopoeia. The first thing I ever indulged in was hydrocodone and, as what the kids call, lean, which is promethazine with codeine. Two very, very, very high-end narcotics that will ruin your life if you continue to take them. Mind you, at that age, 13, I'm 20, I'll be 27 in September, so I'm one of the youngest millennials, actually, the last of the millennials. We were always influenced by our music and our environments, you know, very, very much so. I would say even more so than the Generation Z and the generation coming after them. They're more so influenced by what's in front of them. But not to harp or go on any tangents, I always thought, now just to show you, like I said, I'm 26, I'll be 27 in September. So 13 years ago, in my mind, when you would say the word marijuana or weed or cannabis to me, I would think if you smoke that or indulge in something like that, that would make you a junkie. You would become a crackhead, you would start stealing, you would start doing all types of different things. So I always had this stigma associated with this beautiful plant, this healing herb, so much so that it pushed me into doing man-made substances. So now let's fast forward a little bit. Hi, son. Hi. Hold on. So now let's fast forward a little bit. I went to Millikan University in 2012. That level of anxiety, the first time of being away from home, around people you're not familiar with, faces that you're not familiar with, because keep in mind, Millikan University is a very small university. It's about 3,000 people. And I would say there's probably 150 African-American kids, if you will. So everyone knew each other, you know? So it was a very different environment for me, and it caused me to start partaking in alcohol, things of that nature. Now, mind you, let me backtrack a little bit. When I was 17 years old, I smoked my first joint. I ditched school that day. You know, my mom didn't know about it. I'm like, well, I'm going to do something that all teenagers do, right? And when I did that, something clicked in my mind. Like, why am I doing anything that I've been doing before? These things have been damaging me. I remember one time I had a shortness of breath because of partaking in the promethazine. I almost passed away. And the first time I ever indulged in cannabis, it made me realize that I don't need these things to be whole. So at that moment, I completely stopped cold turkey. Now we're going to hold on to that. Just hold on to that nugget for a moment, because I'm going to come back to that when we're speaking about stressors. So now, as it's widely known, I didn't finish school. I actually left school because of the pressures, and it was just a lot of other situations that aren't really relevant to the topic at this time, so I'm not going to get into that. But I want to speak on the last 6 years, from 2014 to 2020. Well, let's talk about stress. 2014 was a crazy year for me because 3 of my friends ended up getting shot. One almost got killed. And in the same instance when they ended up getting shot at this party in Park Forest, I ended up getting grazed in my head and my leg just by random chance. You know, somebody shooting into a crowd. You know, that situation has always stuck with me and never has left for me. Sometimes I still dream about that, you know. But I've always, you know, the stigma amongst Black men is we don't really necessarily speak on these topics, you know, because they're sensitive. It can be a chink in your armor, so you just keep on slopping along. Well, 2015, my great-grandmother died. My great-grandmother was 97 years old. She lived with us. We took care of her, you know. So to watch her pass away was just very, very upsetting for me. Also in that same year, actually, let me backtrack a little bit, because 2014, I had another friend who was killed by a driver who was being very impatient at a light, and it was a hit. He didn't run. He stayed at the scene, but my friend died at the scene. He's actually my friend that got me into music. Actually, he went to this, I can't think of the name of the school off the top of my head, but it's a very, very well-acclaimed music school. And he was going to be the conductor and the composer for the trombone section of their orchestral choir. So he ended up getting killed that year. Also, let me go forward. So I'm jumping around a little bit, but bear with me. 2015, I found out my grandfather had stage 3 cancer, some kind of sarcoma. I can't remember the name of it. You know, all that stuff was a blur because it was so stressful on my mind. Keep in mind, my grandfather was my dad, you know? So that traumatized me. 2016 came around. All of my friends, we all went our separate ways because I just started seeing different things going on with these people, shady practices and things of that nature. And then the strangest things started happening. All sorts of kids I started growing up that I grew up with in school and in the neighborhood and stuff. Well, there was an uptick in suicides. Keyshawn Johnson is his name. He's one that was very recent. Took his own life by gunshot. And then not too long ago, a good friend of mine, I grew up with him. He lived right across the street from me, took his own life as well. You know, this is why I told you to hold on to that nugget, because I'm going to bring it back. Because someone who would take their own life will be considered someone who deserves to be put on medication, at least in the clinical field, from my estimation. So if that person could have been exposed to the medical side, the cannabidol, along with therapy, along with sitting down and talking to somebody, where could they have been today? You know, I always wonder these things. And it's crazy because all these things, besides the last 2 deaths that I named to you, all happened before I even knew what CBD was. See, I was very familiar with marijuana, very, very familiar with it. In a lot of ways, I attribute it to me not succumbing to the weight of everything that was on my mental. And that was just the half of the 6 years. I cut that short because there's way more death and despair in it, but I don't want to make this me. But the point of what I'm speaking on is we could take that cannabidol, every product, because I use all of Wakana's products, from the drops, the gummies, the pre-rolls, the vapes, Every single product, I use every single one. Almost every day, actually. What if we could create regimens for these young, stressed out Black men to prevent them from taking their own lives, from going on kamikaze missions and things of this nature that is destroying the community? What if we told them that they could take this plant that they've already are familiar with, but take the healthy side of it, boost their metabolism, help their thoughts be clearer, you know, not have the need to smoke, not have the need for tobacco, to just be at homeostasis, you know? That plant, I always say, the holy herb, because that's exactly what it is. It has over 70,000 uses and counting. It was put here for us. We wouldn't have a nervous system for it if it was not for us. So, like I said, I don't want to harp, but when it comes to stressors of millennials, you know, I'm not saying I had the worst life, but these past 6 years, I'd be willing to bet the house that you haven't had a 6 years like I had, you know? And just the simple fact that I could take a toke of that vape and not have to worry about, okay, I'm high now. Okay, I'm sleepy. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I'm these other things that come along with it. No, I could just be, you know? And the number one thing that I think is, you know, that we don't speak on enough is how legalization, well, Dr. Rita obviously is speaking on it, but legalization will help jumpstart our communities. Think about this. You teach, the parable goes, you teach a man to fish and he'll eat forever. Well, Black kids aren't interested in agriculture, but they're interested in weed. You teach these kids growing techniques, they can grow anything. Apples, oranges, corn. That would take a big market share back from the agricultural communities and put it back into our community. So now we have a stable base to start from. So as you could tell, I'm very enthusiastic about this plant. I love it. I love Wakana's products. Like I said, I was not familiar with CBD up until, 4 or 5 years ago at the most, you know, and learning about the endocannabinoid system and how it relates to everything that we have going on is just a beautiful thing, you know. But like I said, I don't want to harp. I try to keep this as candid as possible. So I'm going to be closing out now, but I want to say thank you for lending me your ear for the time being. Dr. Rita, once again, thank you for allowing me to present my story, just a part of it. Like I said, I have a background in music. I stopped doing music for a long time too, because of stress. Had no motivation, nothing. And I was working with celebrity artists. I had interviews in Germany. My music was played at Fashion Week. That picture that you see of me right there performing with our collective poet, that was at the Black Women's Expo. You know, so I have a definite background in that, but I stopped because of depression and stress. You know, and the main thing the message I want to get off to millennials and Gen Z is, don't let that stress ensnare you to the point where where you're stagnant, because the key to life is movement, you know. But like I said, thank you for your time, and peace out. Peace and love.
Wow. All I can say is wow. Oh my God. Thank you, David, so much for that share. Oh my goodness. Everyone is loving all of these shares from Hana, from David. This recording, we must get out to every millennial and Gen Z that we know. I'm telling you guys, this recording you'll have very soon, but we want to bring up our last presenter, Anthony Carter, one of our business partners here at Wakana, and another millennial. And I want you to share your slides with us now. Thank you so much.
So I just want to share a little bit about my story and who I am. this is me. I am a 2-time published author, but I couldn't do so without my family. And so I always tell people that I am a descendant, a family member, a cousin of Emmett Till. And I get a lot of different reactions when I say that, but I grew up in a family that talked about justice at the dinner table. And it was one of those families that just kind of was like very tough on me, and it came to education. And I personally knew Emmett's mother and his stepfather. And his stepfather, I used to go visit him, and he was a barber, and he would sit me in the barber chair and like try to act like he was doing my hair. And he'd give me money for milk, is what he'd say. And I'd come up to him and I'd be like, I'm lactose intolerant, I can't have that. And he's like, what do you know about being lactose intolerant? You're like 4. And so I grew up in a family where there were high expectations for me around education, but also high expectations for me to resist, right? And to be a part of the movement. And so, it just became very important to me to teach people about justice. And so I ended up becoming a social justice educator. And I went to Millikan University as well. So David, shout out to you. I wanted to let you know that you were not alone in feeling like a Cocoa Puff in a bowl of milk. I too felt very out of place at Millikan University, but I am who I am because of the racial tensions that I experienced when I was there. In fact, I work at the University at Albany with a lot of college students who are Generation Z, and they too are dealing with a lot of racial tension, and that is what's causing them a lot of stress. So I have to make that clear that they deal with a lot of anxiety around their education and making sure that their academics are up to par, but they're also dealing with stress from their colleagues who just don't seem to understand their experiences as Black students and Latino students. So I have to make that clear. I'm also a social justice educator in the sense that I am running a cultural center, a multicultural resource center at the University at Albany. And every day I talk about what social justice means to me. I also run their interfaith center. So there's a lot. I have 2 full-time jobs that I'm doing as one person. It's a lot. And then I'm also an internet entrepreneur, as if I have any time to do anything else, right? But I'm an internet entrepreneur and I run a hosting company. I'm a WordPress blogging coach and an expert in WordPress. And I help people to start and launch their blogs. And I happen to deal with a lot of people who are Generation Z. So I help them get that up and running. That's just a little bit. Next is I'm also these things. I am also a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I am a very active member and I help with the Social Justice Committee as well as like 3 other committees. And it's a big task to take on, and right now it's really challenging since we have to do everything via Zoom, and we're still trying to get out there and do the community service work that needs to be done in our community. So it's a stressor at times, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I am a former fitness competitor. I am very health conscious. I love talking about fitness, and that's actually one of the things that truly got me excited about Wakana was because I found out Dr. Rita also is into fitness, and so she and I share that love of fitness. I'm a young Black woman, and so I encounter stress every day with my own racial tensions of the world. And that's something that I have to cope with on a daily basis. And for a long time, I was leaning on things like wine because I love wine. But let me tell you, wine is expensive. And so CBD is a lot less of a hurt and a pain on my paycheck. I can stretch it a little bit longer if I'm doing the CBD versus drinking all the wine. And so I just wanted to share that, I'm trying to feel good, but I don't want to break my arm trying to do that. I don't want to spend an arm and a leg on products to feel good. I desire to have a simple morning and nighttime routine. I want to make sure that when I get up in the morning, I have certain things that I do that start me off to a good start so that I can finish at a good pace. And I have always dreamed of ditching the long hours in my 9 to 5. So there's an expectation with me working in higher ed to be present at business meetings in the morning, and then also be present for the students when they do their activities at night. So I might go in at work at 8 a.m. and I'm not getting home till sometimes midnight, right? And so I need the energy. I need something that's going to keep me going all day long. And CBD does that for me. I've sought freedom in this lifetime. There are folks who have been a part of the civil rights movement, and they say that what's left is now up to Generation Z and the millennials. And as a millennial, I want that freedom now. I'm trying to get freedom now. And I think that that's what drew me to the cannabis industry and trying to understand it. The history of the cannabis industry is based in movement and organizing. So I think that that's one of the first things that caught my attention was people talking about legalize it and the campaign for legalizing the movement. And I think that's what's got a lot of young people into it today too, because our generation and the generation behind mine was really interested in being active and being on the front lines and making sure they bring justice to all the people who are in prison right now, a part of the industrial prison system, because they know that those families deserve to be together, right? And there are people who are profiting off of this industry, knowing that there are families that are broken apart and may never recover. And so I think that it's really partially about providing some type of education around the plant, the power of the plant, and also combining it with wanting to feel good today. So the feeling of pressure to perform at a high level all the time is really crushing, and folks just want some relief. So the challenges that I face with mental health range from depression to insomnia, grief, and stress. And so depression that I had before really had a lot to do with like poor eating habits. Before I was working out, I was really struggling with that. Hormonal imbalance and not having good vitamin D. I was really struggling with my vitamin D. At one point, it was at dangerously low levels. And so CBD has tremendously helped with making sure that I'm taking in other vitamins that I should be taking because I'm remembering to take them. I'm not having that brain fog. And the high exposure to allergens. I have a strong shellfish allergy. I have a strong mold allergy. I can walk into a room and feel the space. And so CBD helps to put my body back in balance. That depression was really taking and consuming me for quite some time. We talk about students and this college loan debt is a tremendous problem, and it felt like there was no relief, right? And so I stay up at night thinking about it. I have insomnia. I stay up at night trying to figure out how do I become the 5-star Amberly that I want to be? Like, how do I get on top? And I'm thinking about ways to make money all day long. And I think it's a part of that generation, right? We're taught to go out and be entrepreneurs. We may have a college degree, but we want to have 6 or 7 streams of income, and we're being taught that. And so we're not only are we trying to make that income and sustain a regular 9 to 5, but we're also taking care of our parents. And some of us are taking care of our children, right? And so we have parents, you have children. There's a lot of pressure to maintain the family and to keep everybody up. So when COVID-19 hit, I want to speak on that. I've had over 9 people died during the COVID-19 season. Okay, and one of them happened to be my first cousin, who I would tour with and go with to speak about Emmett Till. And it was us two were the same on the family tree. Our grandfather is first cousins with his mother, Mamie. And losing her felt like losing an aunt or losing my mother. And she thought of me as her own daughter. And so the loss was tremendous. And I felt David when he talked about losing friends, and cousins sometimes feel like sisters, y'all. And so I don't want to get all choked up and start crying on y'all, but I will be honest and say that, the stress and the grief from losing people during COVID-19 felt just overwhelming and like there was no relief. But my mother, who happens to be a RN, a hospice nurse, having a hospice nurse, first of all, changed the game and dynamic for me, going through this situation and having her here with me. My mother lives with me now by choice. And it's been great to have her here during these times. I'm originally from Chicago, but currently in New York. So I feel a little displaced, right? The rest of my family is together and they are able to support each other and even show up at each other's doorsteps. Right now, they're still 6 feet apart, but it still matters that they're together and coping together. And so I have my mother here with me to help me get through this difficult time. But this COVID-19 is very stressful on so many people who are wondering if they're going to have jobs when they come out of this. I've had several colleagues reach out to me and tell me that they as well as their partners have lost their jobs, and they're trying to figure out how to make ends meet. And it's something where they are looking for relief right now. And I am happy to be able to offer them some solutions through our CBD products. So some of the products that I use, I'm definitely using hempranium, the tincture. I use that in the morning. I do about 3 to 4 drops. It depends on how my day is going to go. If I'm going to work out, then I'll do 2 drops, and then I'll do the water soluble that's there in one of my shakes. If I'm not going to do a workout, then I'll just stick to the hempranium in the morning. At nighttime, I'm using a gummy so that I can get some sleep, because as an entrepreneur, my brain is going all the time. As someone who's also a freedom fighter, I'm always thinking of ways for us to get us free, right? And so that's just who I am. That's my spirit. And I believe, maybe spirit is in me. So I'm constantly thinking about, like, what would she do in these times? What would she do right now? And trying to bring her vision for justice to our people. And so it's hard for me to get to sleep at night because I'm thinking of all those things. But I look at CBD as the overlooked wellness benefit that we have. People haven't told us about the benefits. And so we're having to do our own research. And we're here with Wakana and our awesome 4 founders who have created and laid out a plan for us to be able to be successful and reap the benefits of the health of the power of the plant. And so I want increased laughter. I do. I want to enjoy food. I want freedom today. And I find freedom in the enjoyment of the food and the laughter that I get to have, and music, and things sound better, things taste better, and I just feel better. And I want to enjoy the people around me more. I want better sleep. And of course, when I take my CBD, I feel a spark of creativity. I feel so much energy that I never had before. And I have a deepened focus. I've been able to get so much done. The first time I took the hempranium, with depression, if any of you have experienced depression, maybe you remember like the pile of clothes that pile up. They might be washed and clean, but it's just piled up and you can't seem to get the laundry into the drawer or hung up on the hangers. That next day, I got my room completely cleaned. I don't know what it was, but it's like those receptors were on fire. And I was able to deeply focus on the things that I had not been doing for a month over, the depression that I was having. So I was able to really focus. And then I feel more open-minded and patient. And those of you who live with your mothers, that patience is necessary. So that's all I have. I just wanted to share my story with you all. And I thank you so much for giving me and allowing me this opportunity and time to do that.
Oh my goodness, Amberly, what a powerful share. I mean, tonight has been more than I ever dreamed or expected. You 3, 2 millennials, 1 Gen Z did an amazing, amazing job. And I really am so grateful for you guys that you've, blessed us with your shares and your struggles and how these products have really benefited your mental health. And I just want to end here before we take any questions, because the chat area is blowing up. I mean, people are like, oh my God, you guys are amazing. All 3 of you were amazing. But if you're on the line and you know a millennial, you know a Gen Z, you know a young person that needs help. They're depressed, they're stressed, they have anxiety, they can't sleep. These are the products that I recommend for that generation. I call it the Wakana's Millennial and Gen Z package. Now, remember, it's not a package, and we are working on packages for the millennials. But these are products that I think are essential for the age group. Again, the tincture, the power or the pure. It really depends if that millennial has a urine drug screen at their job, they'll use the white labeling package. If they don't, absolutely the power of the black label. The gummies, you want to use the gummy, one gummy at night so that they can sleep. 3 drops in the morning, 3 drops in the evening of the tincture. You're going to top it off with 1 gummy every night. For acute breakthrough anxiety issues, depression, stress, I need to wazoo down, right? Is the vape cartridge or the pre-roll. Those are products that work within 1 to 5 minutes, right? So I've got a lot of pre-rolls ready because Hana will be coming home May 26th, and Lord, we're gonna have to be really calm, right? So for the moms and the daughters or the sons, and then our hemp-powered hair. Our hemp-powered hair is a product for those who have had hair loss and hair thinning due to stress and anxiety. So that is a package that I recommend, or the products within the package that I recommend for those millennials and Gen Z population. So I'm going to take questions right now, and let's see what's in the chat first. Oh my gosh, great job, awesome, great presentation, awesome, awesome, awesome. A lot of condolences to you, Amberly, I'm reading. Thank you so much, great job, good job, amazing shares. Wow, wow, wow. Are there any questions though? I see a lot of wows. Absolutely phenomenal. Great job, speakers. Are there any side effects of CBD? Great question. I recommend that you start low and start slow. Why? Because if you take too much CBD, it may make you drowsy. So I recommend a conservative low dose is 3 drops in the morning, 3 drops in the evening. You can always increase that dose after 4 to 5 days if you don't feel as though your symptoms have been relieved. So there's always an adjustment up. The maximum dose is 15 drops twice a day. So most people do very well with 3 drops twice a day. What do you suggest for severe migraines? Severe migraines, I recommend the tincture underneath the tongue. 3 drops in the morning, 3 drops in the evening. If you have an acute onset of a migraine, absolutely recommend 1 to 3 pulls on that vape cartridge or that CBD joint. Now, I meant to tell you that the CBD joint, please don't smoke that all in one sitting. That's 106 milligrams of CBD. No one needs 106 milligrams of CBD at one time. 1 to 3 pulls is all you need, maybe 3 times a day. But absolutely, if you have any acute migraine, pain, anxiety, depression, you're wanting to get those fast-acting products, which are the pre-rolls or the cartridges. Now that fresh flower will be out soon. As soon as we get that, we'll let you know when it's available. Thank you for the courage and strength to share. I'm getting questions regarding effects of pre-rolls on the lungs. So if you have a lung issue, i.e. if you are asthmatic, if you have emphysema, if you have COPD, CBD joint and the cartridges are not really the best product for you. Asthma, bronchitis, emphysema, COPD, all of those are inflammatory lung diseases. So you want to get the inflammation down. You really would do much, much better using the tincture, the oil underneath the tongue, and the gummy. Using a cartridge or a CBD pre-roll is not my first go-to if you have lung issues. Any other questions? Great, great questions. Well, we're going to have this recording available to you very shortly. We want you to contact the person who invited you on the line so you can get your products ordered. We want you, if you were on the line, I'm telling you, please, if you know a millennial, if you know a young person in the Gen Z generation, those young adults, please educate them by sharing this recording with them so that they understand that there is a part of the plant that gives them all the health benefits without the high. And why that's important is that you can't go to work high. You can't be functional high. You can't take care, maybe you have a child like David has a young son. You can't take care of him high. So CBD offers all of the health benefits that addresses anxiety and depression and insomnia and all of the stressors that they are going through right now without the high, all the medicinal benefits without the high. And that's the message that we want to share, is to empower and educate the community, the young community, about this other side of the cannabis plant, which is called the hemp side. Have a great night. I want you to call the person that invited you on the call so you can get your products ordered, your questions answered, and we will see you next Wednesday evening, same time. Back pain, leg pain, and numbing, you'll use the topical products that we talked about. With extreme anxiety, can you take more than one gummy to sleep at night? Start with one gummy, and after 45 minutes, if you need another gummy, absolutely yes. There have been nights where I've taken 2 gummies, yes. Well, have a great night. Thank you for joining us. Powerful, powerful webinar, and we'll see you next Wednesday night. Thank you, panelists. You were amazing. Thank you, David. Thank you, Amberly. Thank you, Hana. Love you all, and we'll see you very soon.